Hello. So a while ago I made a couple of videos about automating a YouTube channel using TikTok videos. And I made a couple of videos and no one really watched them, so I stopped making them. But I just thought I'd make this as an update to what's happened and what's gone on. So I did actually do it. I completed the whole thing, but the thing was that the whole process became quite fragile and I ended up getting banned from one of the services. So I'll talk you through what actually happened. And I've got a new keyboard, so my clicking sounds aren't that loud. So if you listen, otherwise it would be, see? So you should be able to hear me while I type. It's not that distracting now. So yeah, so the first thing that we had to do was go onto TikTok, get a bunch of videos and download them. And now if I go onto TikTok, if you would understand what I mean, ta-da! So I've been denied access to TikTok, and the only way to get onto this service would be using a proxy. Now what you would normally do is you would do something like TikTok tag and then enter a name of something you want to search, so let's say dance, and that would usually work. But for me now, they've banned my IP address, I've tried on another machine, and I can't access TikTok. But when I was able to access TikTok, what I was able to get was something quite interesting. So I was able to get these videos. So this stuff. So each one is about a couple of seconds long, maybe 30 seconds or a minute max. And I was able to get these videos. It's just dance rubbish and TikTok rubbish, so yeah. Anyway, so I got that stuff and that was kind of part of the story done. So I needed a way to actually put these videos together. So I built this other script. So this was the scraping script. It's quite long for me to go through, but just to basically talk you through what I did. And let me check I've got no private information here. No, okay, good. Okay, so what I did was I used Selenium again, so Selenium WebDriver. And I just ran it normally. I think one of the issues that made my account get banned was I used the headless option. Now headless option basically means that you can make your browser or your Selenium WebDriver run without making a pop-up window, and sometimes services can pick that up. Now ever since I started using that, I got banned. So if you do want to do something similar to what I've done, don't use the headless extension or option. So yeah, went through that. I then used a search query. So what I was doing, I was finding song names. I was then removing any special characters in the song name. I then put it into the URL for TikTok like this, searched for it, browsed down to populate more windows. So TikTok has these sort of like tiles format, so each tile will be populated beneath it, and I was basically grabbing each of those tiles, and when you hovered your mouse over the tile, it generated a video URL, and I was grabbing that. And then I was just grabbing the URL videos and then basically running this special command here. This one. So basically this is kind of like how you write file data to your machine. So if you use the request library, you're basically sending a request to the server saying get me this link and get me the data from it, and that link should provide you some data. So in this case, because the link was to a video file, it gave me video data. So if I do the response for that, so that ideally you would want to name that something like response. So videodata.content in this case gives me the content of the response. I then gave it a unique name, so this function here gives you unique endings, so something like what would be a good way to explain it? Just think of it as a unique name, like special coding names like UFFCC13451, that sort of naming convention. And so we save that as a file, and we save that into our directory. So that was the video files, I believe. So you can see how it has that weird naming convention with .mp4 at the end. And we're using WriteByte. So yeah, we save the file to our drive. We then kind of just do that constantly, over and over again, until we have a large amount of data here. And once we have that, we want to join the videos together. So what I did was I used a library called PyMovie, so MoviePy, and loaded each of the videos onto my memory using this command. And when they became, I added up the time that each clip's length was, and when it became above 600, which is equal to 10 minutes, I then stopped and then compiled the video together using that. Yeah. And so that gave me a compilation video, which were these ones. So if I show you in a folder, these types. So these kind of piles of garbage. So yeah, so these are all the videos we were going to upload to YouTube. And so, once we have that, we now need to generate thumbnails. So if I go here, I built this function as well to build me some thumbnails. We basically get the video that we made, so the compilation video. We then divide it into 3 parts. So we know that the video is something like 600 seconds because it's roughly 10 minutes. So if you get 25% of 600, which is a half and a half, so that's 600 times by a quarter, which is 150. So we will say that we want the video frame, let's say the frame at the second 150 timestamp of the video, give me that image. And so we did something similar, and that gave us something like this. So that was the timestamp of 150, and that was the time frame at that moment. And then we have one at 0.5, so half the video length. Give me the time frame there, which is that. You can see it's a bit blurry, but I think zoomed out it should make a difference. And then the final one, which is 0.75, gave me this one. And so, okay, we have these 3 images, and now we want to combine the 3 images to make this kind of naming, this thumbnail convention that people seem to choose. And so we thought it would be a good idea to use a TikTok logo as well. So something like that, and then we just paint that randomly in the image. So yeah, so we divide it into 3 images. We then use this function to stitch the 3 images together with a TikTok logo painted on top of it. And that gives us something here. So if we look at compilation images, saved in, where did I save you? Was it final thumbnails? Yeah, there we go. So if you look at that, so we got the left image, the middle image, the right image, and we got this weird icon here. So just to show you what that looks in a better way, you can see all these types as well. So that one, that one, that one. So the function we built randomly places this anywhere on the screen. So you can see in some cases it's kind of weirdly placed on people's faces. Like that as well. You wouldn't really want to place a logo on someone's face. But yeah, you get the idea. And then the final stage would obviously be uploading it to YouTube. Now, YouTube itself does have an API, so you don't have to build your own type of scraping, upload, automation script. You can just use the API, but the problem I found was if you try using the API, every one of your videos that you post will post as private and blocked when you want to make it public. And so if you want to make it public, you have to go through an audit of YouTube's API, and then you have to fill out some form work. I've tried it. I ended up getting an email back saying the thing that I entered was irrelevant and not needed, and they're rejecting my application outright. So I built my own automation script. I'm not going to show you it because it's got some of my login details there, but yeah, it goes through the same steps what you would do when you just drag in a file and go through the text boxes next. I'm just using Selenium there to automate some of the clicks. It took me a bit of time because Google stuff is quite finicky, but I did get around to it. I'm going to have another go at trying to get the API to go and just see if that works for me. But one other interesting thing I thought you might want to know is finding tags for YouTube videos. So let's say I'm going onto YouTube. Let's say something like that. And then what you can do is, let's say I search for something like motors. You see how the URL comes in this sort of format. So youtube.com/, let's do something like this. Search. That doesn't work. Let's try Q. I think Q works. Nope. Anyway, something along this format. So if you were to change the ending here, like let's say I change this to turbines. So you can obviously automate that by copying that whole URL and then just changing the ending to another string that you want. Find the first video in your link, and then if you inspect that, you can find that this href is a hyperlink to actually watch the video, so you can use that. And if you do a request on that and click that, it gives you this.
We've all been told what's the...
Okay, yeah, you can all do that, and then if you right click again, do inspect, if it wants to work for me, and then if you do a Control F in the code, or Control F, it's not going to work for me, it's slow as hell. So if you say keyword, you can go and find tags. So keyword. Okay, so yeah. So if we look at the keywords and we look at the content, you can see that there's a tag here. And if you use some more Selenium stuff and automation stuff, you can grab those tags, use them, and use them in your YouTube video if you want to automate the whole process. Because this is the most popular one, so I'm assuming they have some tags that are pretty useful. So yeah. Just to show you what the YouTube channel looks like then. So if you go social, ultra. So you can see, like, obviously 56 seconds ago, these are all the videos that I've got, and they've been automated, so they will upload automatically as well. And that's so far what I've got. Okay, so I know this video is not going to be the most entertaining to watch, but this is just the general process that I've done in building this stuff. And I'll try to get something more interesting up and running. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.